Hello everyone! In this video, you will see how to apply conditional formatting to an interactive column chart to highlight the maximum and minimum values in it. This will help to focus the attention of your audience on key points in your chart. The table in our example has a filter, so when the user changes its selection, the visible columns will change. For example, if I deselect milk chocolate, then different columns need to be highlighted. And if I select white chocolate, again the highlighting needs to change. This means that the solution has to be dynamic. Conditional formatting is only applicable to cells, but there are two solutions that will let us use this concept for charts as well. The first solution is based on using formulas and overlapping data series, and its chart will be on the left. The second solution involves writing a macro in Microsoft Visual Basic for applications, and its chart will be on the right. Let's start with the formula. The first solution is to add two more data series, where only minimum and maximum values are shown in a different color to our first series, and to overlap them. The minimum and maximum values will be determined by a formula. The table contains example data for sales of some brands and chocolate types. Let's add an additional column for the maximum value. The maximum value will be determined by a condition. If the value in the cell is equal to maximum of the values, then it should be shown, else 0. Let's add this series to the chart. Let's color it green. You can also choose one of the standard colors if you like. And under Format Data Series, let's overlap them. I will set the overlap to 100%. For the minimum value, I will do a similar procedure. Let's add an additional column. And correct the formula. Let's add this series to the chart as well. And color it red. Let's add a slicer to filter the table easier. I will take chocolate type as an example. And let's deselect milk chocolate, which has the lowest values. But wait, the coloring is not correct. This is because the functions min and max in these formulas consider all cells, not only the visible ones. And we need to consider the visible cells only. That's where the function aggregate can help. It's a very versatile function that lets the user choose from a whole list of calculations. Alternatively, also the function SUBTOTAL can be used instead of aggregate. So let's change the formulas. I will change max to aggregate number 4. Specify to ignore hidden rows, number 5, and leave the data range. I will change min to aggregate number 5. Again, specify to ignore hidden rows, number 5. Leave the data range. And now we can test. If I choose white chocolate, the correct columns got highlighted. If I deselect milk, chocolate, again the highlighting is correct. And if I choose all chocolate types, the coloring is correct and our highlighting is dynamic. The second solution involves writing a macro in Visual Basic for applications. This solution is more straightforward as Visual Basic allows the points themselves of the original series to be edited. Because our chart is dynamic, the macro has to be triggered by the change of the filter selection. But filter changes cannot trigger macros, but calculations can. So first of all, I will need some kind of a calculation or a dummy on the sheet that will be recalculated every time the filter selection changes. As a dummy, I will use a simple cell reference. So let's make more place on the screen. And I will set A2 to equal C16. This will be my dummy. And now let's open the Visual Basic editor with the key combination Alt and F11. And let's start writing the macro. The macro is going to be embedded into the sheet where the dummy is. That's sheet 1. So I will choose Worksheet. Now I need the trigger to be a calculation. So I will choose Calculate and delete the previous suggestion. Let's first declare our variables. Our chart is going to be the chart that we're working on. And our series is going to be the series. M is going to be the maximal value. And N is going to be the minimal value. P is going to be the point number in the chart. That's why it's an integer, whereas M and N can be decimal numbers. That's why they are declared as double. Let's define our variables and set our chart to be chart 2 on the active sheet. To check the number of the chart, we need to go back to the sheet we were working on, select the chart, and in the far left corner, we can see that it's called chart 2. And if we select the series, we will see here that it's series 1. Let's set our series to be series 1 of our chart. M and N I'm going to define using worksheet function max and min respectively. So M is equal to worksheet function max of our series values, which is the array of the values of our series. and n is equal to worksheet function min of our series values. Now let's start the loop through the visible points of the chart. This is going to be a for next loop. So for p from 1 to our series points count, meaning from 1 to the number of countable points in the chart, if the corresponding value of the series is equal to m, then the corresponding point should be colored green. I'm using a more moderate shade of green, so I'm using number 192. If you don't remember the RGB combinations, you can go back to the sheet, go to Fill Color, More Colors, Custom Colors, and here are the different combinations. Else, if the value, so if the corresponding value of our series is n, so the minimal value, then the corresponding point should be colored red. Else, so if the value is neither minimum nor maximum, the corresponding point should be colored blue. And if, to finalize the if-then statement, next p to finalize the loop. And that's it. Now let's check by going back to the sheet and sorting the values, largest to smallest. And because of our dummy, the correct values are highlighted. The correct columns change their color. Let's also add a slicer. Also chocolate type. And if I select white chocolate, again the correct columns are highlighted. If I select all chocolate types, again the highlighting is dynamic and correct. Writing macros can be very useful if you're dealing with such charts all the time. You'll need to write the macro just once and you can use it many times. If you would like to use this code, then please adapt these two lines to your own file. So this code is working with chart 2 on the active sheet and with series 1 of that chart. So please adapt the sheet name, the chart number, and the series number to your own file. And please don't forget to embed the code on the sheet where your dummy is. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe for more practical spreadsheet solutions.